Welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting. Tonight is Tuesday, April 19th. Mr. Hillman may be joining us a little later. Can I have any amendments to the agenda? Yes.
Just for the record, it was posted as revised, but under my report, number 2 is the appointment of the Economic and Community Development Director, just for the record.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Make a motion to accept the agenda.
Seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda approved. Okay. All right, a few announcements. The annual town election will be held on Monday, April 25th, 2016, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Town Hall. The annual town meeting will be held on Monday, May 9th, 2016, at 7 p.m. in the Ayer Shirley Regional High School Auditorium. On Saturday, April 30th and Sunday, May 1st, between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., we'll hold our annual cleanup weekend. Drop by Depot Square to pick up your bags and gloves and tell us which streets or areas you'd like to clean. When your bags are full, bring them back to Depot Square where they'll be transported to the transfer station. Students will receive community service hours for volunteering. We also welcome scout groups, houses of worship, and local businesses to get involved. Contact airrecycles@gmail.com or 978-496-4839 for more information. Tickets are now on sale for the Ayer Shirley Regional High School Drama Club Spring Musical Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella, being performed April 29th at 7 p.m. and April 30th at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Tickets are $10 for adults, $8 students and seniors. For tickets and more information, call 978-772-2545. Okay. All right. Anyone here for public input tonight? Mary.
Madam Chair, I'd like to speak about the old fire station, but I'll wait until after the Memorial Garden Committee. I don't want to keep these people waiting.
Okay.
That's all right with you?
Yes. Okay. Remind me in case I forget. All right. Anybody else? All right then. Well, moving along. We have an appointment tonight. Robert?
Yes, Madam Chair, in accordance with the Neshoba Valley Technical High School's bylaws, the appointment of the Ayer representative and the Ayer alternate to the school committee is made by a appointing body consisting of the Board of Selectmen, the Ayer members of the Ayer Shirley Regional School Committee, and the town moderator, all those that are present. So that would be in order for tonight. And the two candidates are candidates for reappointment. Mr. Ted Janiskevich for reappointment to a 3-year term as the Ayer representative, and Miss Christine Logan reappointment to a 3-year term as the alternate rep. So I believe there are members of the school committee from Ayer and the town moderator, as well as the selectmen.
Okay.
And I share, right?
Yes, and why did you?
Okay,
Yeah, yeah. And and the candidate, I know Mr. Janiskevich is also here.
Okay.
How are you?
My gavel? You want to borrow my gavel?
In your room. Singing in a while.
It's dainty. Treat it nice. Here.
Oh, you can get one of those. Okay. Call the meeting to order. For the appointment, is there any nominations?
Mr. Chair, I move that we appoint Ted Janiskevich as a representative to the Neshoba Tech School Committee.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Appointment is made. Is there
I feel like I got left out of the conversation.
Just for the record, I recuse.
okay.
So who's it voting?
Ted.
No, I know that, but who's voting? You?
So it's
Yeah.
No,
So,
no.
and I approve. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear you say anything.
Because I kind of got left out of the conversation.
I looked over. I didn't even hear anybody say anything.
So-
Okay. Okay, and the alternate?
Yes, I move that we appoint Ms. Logan as the alternate for the 3-year term as well.
Is there a second? Any discussion?
No.
You got to say something.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The appointment is made.
Thank you.
Okay, there you go.
Congratulations and thank you.
And this part of the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations again.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
See you all later.
All right.
All right.
Oh, okay.
What's this?
For when we do the budget.
Is that budget?
Okay.
Yeah.
I had one.
That's all we know.
Oh, it is the original.
Yep.
Okay, I'll get you in.
Thanks.
All right, so I'm here before you tonight for a reserve fund transfer in the amount of $1,428. This was the cost of training for the collector, and specifically munis training in mostly tax titles. This training was set up as a reserve fund transfer for FY15, but due to scheduling conflicts between personnel at Munis as well as the town collector, she was unable to get the training last year, so it wasn't in the budget for this year, so I'm respectfully asking for reserve fund transfer.
Gary?
Make a motion to approve reserve fund transfer of $1,428
Seconded? Oh, sorry.
to account number 01136. That's it.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye.
Thank you.
Reserve fund transfer approved. I'll put it here and I'll sign everything later. Okay. Chief Murray. We've seen you a lot lately.
Wasn't it nice?
It is, because it's all been for nice reasons.
You've seen him a lot lately, too.
Yeah, you remember Casey? How
Yeah,
can you forget him?
I know. Jeez, he's been there like 5 times.
All for good stuff as
Yes,
well.
yeah, yep,
So you guys already know Casey.
yep.
We have an opening imminent, I hope, due to retirement. And what I'd like to do is get Casey appointed now in preparation for that opening, so that as soon as I get that letter, he can start. And that's basically what I'm asking. You guys know Casey, he's been here since 2010. He's been dispatcher, per diem, full-time, been a reserve officer. He only left, fall of 15 to attend the full-time academy on his own, paid his own way. We sponsored him, but he paid all the bills. They gave him a gun and a car. That was about it. Took him back on as soon as he came back from reserve, as a reserve officer. And he's been training every single shift that his FTO, who couldn't be here right now, Officer Kaczynskis is working. He's working tonight, training in general officer is on the call. So I think he's more than proven himself to us and to the town, his devotion. So that's my request. Start at step 2, and like I said, the day after I get that letter from Perrick.
No, I just want to say, Casey's, your perseverance has been great. I mean, just hanging in there and starting from the bottom. You don't think he didn't do a sweep floors, and he might have swept floors too. Did he?
Oh, he did.
Yeah. But congratulations, and I'd be happy to make a motion to approve Casey Scott to the position of full-time patrol officer at a step 2 rate, effective when we receive the retirement information that we're waiting.
Seconded?
I good?
All in favor?
Aye,
Chair says aye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
again.
Pending. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. All right. So now, I'd like to have our Memorial Garden Committee update with Mike Dutillion, our Veterans Agent, and Chairman Jim Fay. I think some of you might recognize Mr. Fay.
Never seen that before.
Is Mike here too?
I never met a camera I didn't like.
Or is it a little early for?
No, Mike's with a client, actually, so if the board will permit me, about 5 minutes worth of update, really.
Okay.
I thank Mary for the courtesy. I'm retired, I could have waited. Just briefly, the Memorial Garden, as you know, is looking very nice, and I thank the efforts of the town to continue to maintain. But the next goal of the committee is to put in another plaque, and the status right now is the committee had voted a couple of years ago to say that the moment we received 25 approved applicants, we would begin the fundraising, and that's a private issue on the fundraising side. But as soon as we receive 25 approved candidates, we would begin the efforts for another plaque. So I just wanted to let the board know that right now, and in fact let the town know, that we have 20 approved candidates right now. So we're getting very, very close, and I expect that this year might be the year that we'll start to move toward getting that additional plaque put in the Memorial Garden. And overall, for the good of the board and the town, the eligibility requirements are pretty basic. If you are a resident of the town for 10 years, or have been born in the town, and have a military discharge, that is to say a DD Form 214 from the military that has an honorable discharge, that pretty much approves you in terms of getting before the committee. Now, what I would ask the folks to do that are interested in getting the recognition in the garden is to submit that 214 through the Board of Selectmen to Mike Detillion, our veteran agent. And what Mike does is he goes through and verifies that everything is correct. And in fact, if a citizen happens to say, well, I can't find my 214, Mike, as our veteran agent, can also obtain that form through government channels. So we've had a couple of folks go through that process where they said, well, I can't find my paperwork, and Mike has assisted in that regard. So basically, it's a simple process. Once we have the 214, once it's verified, once we have someone in the family or a family member, in the case of, for example, a deceased member, if one has a deceased member that says, well, we lived here, we didn't get to be recognized in the garden, and unfortunately our family member, our veteran, has deceased, we can still, with the approval of the town clerk in terms of 10 years residency in the town and the approved 214, we can still approve that applicant for recognition in the garden.
What about scenarios where a veteran doesn't have a DD-214? And I will clarify why they won't have a DD-214. There are a lot of veterans that have been only done a reserve status. And DD-214s are usually only issued when they've done an extended active duty period of 30 days or more. So like if they just done the 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in a year, not necessarily mobilized, to have gotten that DD-214, but they still have the honorable service. So how would you address that?
Well, let's go back to what you mean by honorable service, or when in fact a DD-214 is issued. A veteran becomes, quote, a veteran after 180 days of continuous active federal service. Now, what that means is that there are some categories in the military that don't meet that threshold, and they in fact do not get a 214. So under the current Memorial Garden rules, which have been in effect since, as far as I can tell, it goes back to the 1890s. That person would not be.
Some reservists will enter right into the reserves, and they won't even go to boot camp.
Right. Yeah. Again,
So-
my point is that unless you have the 180-day benchmark, you would not be eligible.
But okay, but I mean, they can still do 20 years in a reserve status and collect at
Right,
age 60.
that's toward a 20, I know what you mean by like a 20-year letter and a federal pension, and that's a different category.
Okay.
But the quote, the term veteran applies to that individual who has served, again, 6 months or 180-day threshold, so.
Consecutive or cumulative?
Yeah, has to be 6 months consecutive, yeah.
Okay.
That's been not hashed out isn't the term. It's been researched before and come back that unless you've got that 6-month threshold, you're, quote, not a veteran. I mean, there are other, public health service, for example, is another federal and/or sometimes confused with military service, those in the public health service. But for the purposes right now of the Memorial Garden, you need to have that 6-month threshold.
Okay.
And I know for a fact, Ayer has about a 15% population of veterans. So I know there are 5 more people out there where we can get, and again, just to, more for the public, and you'll see us again at Memorial Day with the parade and the Legion, and we work, as you know, the Memorial Garden works in concert with the American Legion to flush out those veterans that, but as you know, being one yourself, that we veterans sometimes shy away from the spotlight in that regard, so. But we do need to recognize, well, not us, but but we do need to continue to try and recognize properly all those in here that give us that federal and military service.
And just one more quick question.
Sure.
On the last plaque that had gotten done, have we updated, corrected people's names?
Well, regrettably,
Misspellings that, we were promised years ago that would fix.
regrettably, Janice with 2 N's.
That was spelled out clearly.
I've been told by the folks who did the plaque that it would take almost as much to make the correction as it did to do the plaque. So I know
not what I had been told when it was
there's
originally
regrettably
done.
also a warrant officer, I think, in the Navy that I think we almost made him C-3PO, but so we got one wrong there also. And unfortunately,
Well, hopefully it was a
the
Star
committee
Wars.
decided not to do what has been done. In some cases, there can be a one-liner added, but the committee didn't feel that that was appropriate. We still recognize those for their service.
That's okay. I'm connected to my father, so that's all right.
I was once confused with another Fay, as you know, so. But again, I thank the board for its time and look forward to working with you in this continuing effort of the Memorial Garden. Thank you for the support.
All right.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank
to
you.
see you again.
Yep. Pleasure.
All right. Now we get to the fun stuff.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
Mary on the fire.
Oh, yes, Mary. Sorry. Wait a minute, Lisa.
Okay, Madam Chair, and for anybody that's watching at home, I don't want you calling me tomorrow screaming at me. But I'd like to speak about the old fire station because I understand that the deal fell through. And in view of the fact that we hear every day about the fact that Town Hall is running out of space, we're hiring people. Government never gets smaller. So I'd ask us to reevaluate the old station. Now, I know it is in terrible condition. We haven't done anything to it for years. What I'd like to know if we can use our people that we have, that we employ, that have the knowledge to look at it. We know it needs a new furnace. We know it needs a new roof. Can we take off some of the additions, and would that make it so that we could use it as an extension here? I'd like to know if in all these years it's been empty, a few more months to get it evaluated and just to see.
You scared?
Jim, what did that, what was that gonna cost to?
The report, which the committee, as you know, the final report, oh my goodness, that was what, 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm almost unwilling to hazard a guess because
Okay.
5 years later, the cost is now
Right.
exorbitant.
I thought it was between $2 to $3 million.
Yeah, that's
Well,
that.
it's more in the 3 to 5.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
Three was our best at the time. 5 was more likely if we didn't act quick, and that was 5 years ago.
Right.
So now you're up probably closer to 10, just off the top of my head. And you can, of course, look back. I have copies of that report. if the board would like me to bring that back at a future date, I could revisit that. I would go back on the committee. I thought, like Mary said, I thought it was gonna be sold, so.
Yeah.
But I'd be willing to serve the board in that capacity again if you
I
so
just-
choose.
And I don't know if that report included taking off some of the additions or was the whole thing. I'm just asking if we
Yeah.
can look at that, that's all.
I mean, it's not a bad thought, but yeah, Jim, if you could get that information back to us,
I certainly
and then
can.
we'll add it to the thought process, think tank.
No, I mean, it's just an added expense on our bottom line too,
Yeah.
by maintaining it, so.
Right. Just, we'd have to see if it was feasible.
If I might, just a comment, the comment was that it's almost not cost effective.
Right.
In the final analysis. But if the town really wants to keep it, which it didn't, but if the town really wants to keep it, it'd be very, very, I'm thinking probably 10 million or better.
Yeah.
But I'll revisit that with you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Mary.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Lisa. So now we get to do the review and approval of the annual town meeting warrant and the FY17 budget.
So, Madam Chair, what I propose, in the interest of time, is we would go through the budget first. As every year, Ms. Cabri has a few slides on the overall budget, and there are handouts here. And then we'll go through the budget, sort of like at town meeting. If selectmen have questions, they pass on each of the item, and we can come back. And then we'll do the same with the warrant. We'll just go through and just say pass on any questions. All right? Yeah. Okay. So,
All right.
Lisa?
So we're just going through the finances right now?
Yeah.
Right, this will be a quick overview, I'll try to make it painless as much as possible. Oh, Kali, I just keep hitting this is animation, whatever. So, this just shows you that we are coming out of this with a balanced budget, at this point, at least, prior to any voting tonight. So we have projected revenues of just over 26 million and projected expenses and savings of almost the same amount. And that includes $639,000 going to stabilization. That's both capital stabilization, where the bulk of it's going, $500,000, and the balance to regular stabilization, and $300,000 to OPEB funding. The key factors in this year's budget are the 4 new positions in the police department, costing approximately $215,000. The Ayer Shirley Regional School District increase of about $264,000. Middle school retirement assessment increase of $86,000, and health and life insurance $69,000, and that's the impact of the new positions. So I'll just start with a quick overview of the revenues. This is using, for FY17, this is using House budget, the most recently passed budget, and state aid under that budget was $879,000, slightly less than what the governor proposed. And then we have our tax base of almost $22 million, our local receipts of $1.6 million, which is about $94,000 more, which is basically the impact of motor vehicle excise, about $54,000 more, and meals tax of about $17,000 more, and then basically across the board the other types of fees that we collect. And then there's free cash of $1.3 million, which is about $57,000 more than last year. And then other, this is overlay surplus. This is the amount that's reserved against the tax base for abatements and exemptions. But after so many years, when there's a balance there, because the assessors estimate how much that's going to be, but if it's not used, they release that balance back to the general fund. So this year it's $121,000 as opposed to last year, where it's $294,000. So we have total revenues of almost $26 million. And then charges, you see the charge line decreased this year. Charges are state assessments, the MBTA, air pollution control, mosquito control, that sort of thing. And it's also overlay, the overlay account that I just talked about. So there's about $300,000 that the assessors have estimated we need to reserve out of FY17's taxes for overlay. And last year we also had quite a big snow and ice deficit. So that's why the difference of $230,000. So we have about 25.5 million available. Okay, so, yep, the next one is, just shows you how the tax base compares to last year, the recap sheet. What I really, two things I want to bring your attention to. New growth. Again, for FY17, that's the assessor's estimate. Tends to be somewhat conservative. So I think they gave me the same number last year in their beginning estimate, but once it was approved by the state, which is sometime later, it actually was $446,000. But I also want you to note the unused levy capacity. It's almost $1 million last year, forcing it to be $1 million this year. We're showing that there's some capacity if we need it in the future where we don't have the kind of growth that we've had. It's also good for the taxpayers because we're not taxing right up to capacity. We could be, but we're not. So this is just a breakdown, and then you'll see the debt exclusions from the non-school debt exclusions, if you will, and those are reducing every year as we pay down more principal. And then we have the new debt exclusion, a newer one for the school, for the high school. So we have about $22 million of total tax levy. And then we get quickly the charges, I just told you the difference. So the appropriation deficit was the snow and ice overspending last year, deficit. And this year, thankfully, we have none. So then I'll just get right into the omnibus budget. And I'm not sure if Robert has further instruction at this point, like if to pass. That's,
Yeah, so we'll just go through the lines, and if there are any questions that selectmen have on pass, but just to give it sort of a snapshot.
Okay.
And we have, and it will clearly say this on the warrant, as it does every year, point out on the issue of the budget that Ms. Cabri is presenting does reflect the 2% cost of living. As the board knows, that's the purview of ultimately town meeting to set. So the warrant will clearly indicate that. It will also clearly have the board's exact position, the personnel board's position, the FinCom's position recommendation. So all of that information is clear for town meeting participants, and ultimately is decided by town meeting. But for the purpose of the discussion, it does reflect the 2% in the budget. So you have the selectmen, the selectmen line item. Town council does reflect an increase. It reflects two increases. I had increased the budget originally by $10,000, and then in light of the board's decision on the eminent domain that night, per the board, increased it another 15 for a total of $25,000 for the legal costs that will be involved with that. Again, there are some slight increases in Department 100. I don't know if there are any questions from
most of
the
those
board.
The selectmen is $9,500 for new office furniture, which is
right.
falling apart.
Yeah.
And staff increases.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
Staff increases. So, and then Robert just explained town council. Town clerk line is basically staff pay increases. So is the public buildings department. Elections and registrations is a bump for the new election workers and what we pay them. And also she had some contracted services that increased. Computers, I think programming the computers. This line, we level funding 4th of July celebration. We added the holiday light celebration, same $10,000. And the personnel board requested $500 this year for whatever expenses they may have. So that's basically it for the Department 100. And then, my line item, accountant's line item decreases, basically due to the fact that last year I was under the impression that my assistant was going to be retiring, so we built in unused vacation because that was what she thought at the time. She did not retire, so we've removed that money out, and that was about $7,400 actually. But it also reflects an net of that, an increase in the audit fee, as well as an increase in consulting services. Payroll and benefits is basically just pay increase. Computer support is an increase for our munis financial support services, and some training, because we desperately need some training here. We have turnover in staff, and it's important to keep up with that. The assessor's line includes pay increases, but also includes an increase in hours for their administrative staff from 37 hours to 40 hours a week, which is basically what most full-time people in the building work. The collector, once again, that's pay increases. The treasurer, same thing. Life and health insurance, $69,000 increase, is a result of our premiums actually stayed level, or in some cases decreased. So basically that $69,000 is a result of the cost of the added personnel for the police department and other people who have come on to health insurance. Property and liability insurance decreased by $29,000. This is information that I just received from the Selectmen's office, based on a quote from Maya.
Yeah.
Maya. Same thing with workers' comp. Police and fire accident has increased $12,000. This is based on town administrator's estimate from what the insurance companies have told them, and we have some experience at the moment, and probably will continue because it's in our history now. The unemployment comp, we now pay, when we were part of the school and there were more layoffs on a continuing basis, we used to pay unemployment based on a percentage of wages. Now we go right to claims because it's cheaper, basically. It has been cheaper, but we had a claim this year during the year, so we didn't know about it. And the $40,000 is actually an estimate I believe the Finance Committee came up with based on the actual, what they feel is the actual amount that's going to be incurred in FY16. So there has been a reserve fund transfer for that line this year, because we do have that one claim. Retirement assessment, this is per the assessment, and increased by $86,000. Principal, the debt principal increase, and that's basically due to the, in FY14, we had a number of capital borrow articles for the general fund, but the one that's the most significant was the rehab of engine 4 for the fire department. It was $121,000, and we typically have to pay that over 5 years, although we can get permission for longer, so that's the impact of that. And the interest has actually decreased because we're paying off more and more the principal on the old debt, so there's not as much interest, and the rates on the new debt are very, very little. 2% and under. Tax title, this is the cost associated with sending it off to Coppola and Coppola, our lawyers to, record and so forth, any new tax titles that, and we're just, the treasurer has asked for it to be level funded. It looks like there's plenty because there's not a lot of activity right now. FICA Medicare was increased by $18,000 to reflect actually FY16 actuals and a small percentage on top of that for pay increases. The Finance Committee level funded the reserve fund. The Finance Committee voted apparently to reduce the reserve fund from $150,000 to $100,000. They feel we can live with that.
What do you
So
think?
far, we're doing okay this year. I mean, last year was another story, but so far, we're doing okay.
Does it average that or under the last few years?
Well, it's hard to tell because typically it was well more than that when the
Right.
school was an apartment.
Right.
Typically, in voc ed, this was before we became a member, so that would drive it up
It was
sometimes.
up over
or-
200,000,
Or
right?
some other issue at the school
Right.
would drive it up. And, it was a much bigger budget then, so you needed a bigger fund. Judging by this year, it looks like we'll be fine with 100,000.
Okay.
Okay, so the biggest increase in any of the operating budget lines is the police department, but 215,000 of that increase is the 2 new dispatchers and the 2 new patrolmen. And I think the chief has done an excellent job in presenting his case of why, he's asking for that. And the rest of that increase is basically payroll related
Yeah.
also. Yeah. So it includes the patrolmen's increases because their contract hasn't expired yet, and the dispatchers, increases. It does not, and non-union staff. It does not include the superiors at this point.
Correct.
The fire department includes increases for their non-union staff. The fire department's contract expires June 30. It has not been negotiated yet, so the impact of that has not been rolled in yet. It also includes $5,000 for additional vehicle maintenance, $4,000 for a trailer for the RTV, and about $1,400 for a new subscription to NPPA, whatever that is, one of their organizations. The building inspection department is being restructured, so to speak. So, and we're moving towards a full-time building department, which is something the town's wanted for a long time. So the new line item for FY17, the $82,000 reflects our current inspectors' hours winding down, only working 4 to 8 hours a week, and our assistant building inspector, who's headed towards trying to get his credentials to be a full-time inspector, his hours ramping up. Obviously, he's cheaper. So the net result is almost an $8,000 decrease in that budget line. And we will head towards a full-time department, which is a good thing. Emergency management, that's just, I don't know, it's not even worth talking about. Tree warden, that might be worth talking
Emergency's
about.
not worth talking about.
Because that's more than doubling, that's more than doubling.
Why?
And that's a result of all the trees he had to take down this year, and he had to go for a reserve fund transfer this year, and more likely he may need another one, because there's some more trees he's concerned about at the police department.
Yes, Robert.
Yeah.
As the board is aware, last fall, the tree warden, in doing his work, will put white X's on trees that need to come down. And when the town's insurers were here, and there's no reflection on the tree warden, it was budgetary resources they asked about these trees. So I had met with the tree warden and Lisa and Mr. Wetzel, and he had gone to the finance committee for a reserve fund transfer to have all those trees come down, and which they did approve, the FinCom, which we appreciate because he's able to get them all down. So I think through that whole process, this increase of 21,000 will enable the town and the tree warden to be even more proactive in dealing with these public trees that need to come down that are completely dead. There are insurance implications if we leave them up, and God forbid if there's injury or to destruction to property from them. So I think this is a step in the right direction. The tree warden has done an excellent job being proactive with that. And I think this includes his plans to some replanting as well, which is part of his position.
So Public Works. So one thing you'll notice is that snow and ice is now removed and is being treated as a separate item. And it's level funded, as the general feeling I got from the last meeting I was at, the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee. So therefore, the Public Works line has increased about $36,000. And let me just read. Public Works. Of course, that does include the impact of the DPW union contract, if approved by you guys. And it also includes increases for non-union staff as reclassified, and includes $15,000 for a parking study, $5,000 for traffic signs, and $6,400 for crosswalk LED lights. Street lighting has decreased a lot as far as the energy costs because of solar net metering. It's decreased $17,000 or so, $18,000. However, he also Mark also wanted to add in, so it includes the decreases due to the net metering credits, but and lower energy costs. But he also included $7,600 for Main Street light improvements. Council on Aging, that increase is merely contracted pay increases. Same with the Board of Health. The Board of Health, the Neshoba Boards of Health, that's an assessment, so, you know, we don't really have a choice, but it's minimal anyway. The Parks Department, the reason for the reduction in the Parks Department is because last year they were given $10,000 extra to do projects, and they did their number of projects and used it, or most of it, and then, so they didn't ask for this extra money again. But it also is net, you know, pay increases for that department too, for lifeguards, for his staff, and for Jeff. The Veterans Agent, well, Mike made some decreases in other lines, and they nearly offset his pay increase. It's not big money. Veterans benefits, we're actually seeing a reduction in the amounts being paid out for benefits, which hopefully means, you know, they're finding jobs. So.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of reduction.
Yeah, but we're seeing it this year, so I do believe he has a good estimate there. The library increase is, as you know, we have to keep a certain amount budgeted in order to stay in the state system so that we can be certified and share books and all that kind of stuff. But the bulk of that increase has to do with a reclassification of their employees that they looked at, as well as a new position, assistant to the Director of Children's Services. And I am made aware through the library commissioners that this increase in wages will also reflect an increase in extended hours for the library. Okay. Conservation, that's just wage increase for staff. Economic and community development, probably sitting in the room right now. But this is this reduction this is half of their budget, because the other half is under economic, UDAG, economic and community development. So we had turnover in staff, and new staff, hopefully, is accepting a position, but at a lower step, because David was here longer. You know, he had
Seniority.
Yeah, he had seniority and moved up the steps. And MRPC is just an assessment, straightforward. Management support. This line changes significantly too. You see it added, increases $40,000. That $40,000 reflects the new person that has been hired to be administrative staff for both the building departments and I call them permitting departments, or land use departments, I don't know what you want to call it. But because she's support for multiple departments, Robert and I decided this would probably be the best place to put her, is under management support. And then we have info technology. And this increase basically, I mean, has Cindy's pay increase, but it also increased basically due to the capital planning committee saw Cindy had $12,000 all the way out on every year for her 5 years, and it was for workstations and printers and so forth. So she replaces so many a year throughout the town, and we decided that it's kind of like a cruiser. If you see it year over year over year, it probably ought to be in the operating budget if it can support it. So we're asking that it be put in the operating budget. And that's the end. That's just the summary of each of them. So, any questions?
Do you have any idea what the levy would be, percent?
Oh, I don't. I can ask Tom to
Can you work on that?
I'll ask Tom.
Thanks. Great.
Looks good.
Do we? Oh, wait, I was supposed to stay up for that discussion.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Just whip that up today?
Yeah, I had a little help.
So, to the chair, maybe a motion at the end to approve the warrant and the budget, or does the board want to approve the budget as presented separately?
Do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Pretty easy and long.
yeah. So, to the warrant then, I'll just, in the interest of time, we'll go through the articles, not reading the whole thing, but just the topic of each article, and if you just say, like we usually do, a pass, and we'll come back for questions. The warrant, as the board knows, we're looking for your approval tonight. The warrant has to go to print by this Friday at noon to be printed and also mailed to all of the households. The Finance Committee will be meeting tomorrow to take their votes and positions on the financial articles. All of the articles per the board in the warrant system that was developed will have detailed explanatory notes as well as the votes on the positions. So our goal is to give as much advance notice to town meeting participants of all of the information. So Article 1 is town elections. Article 2 is town reports.
I have a question on that one. Come back to it.
Article 3 is a pay prior year bill. Article 4 is the salaries of elected officials, which are set by town meeting, and we have represented on the warrant, as we have in the past, with the COLA increases where applicable. Article 5 is contract funding for the DPW union contract. We'll be discussing that later. Article 6 is the contract funding for the fire union. Contract negotiations are ongoing. Article 7, contract funding, police superiors negotiations are ongoing. And Madam Chair, just for the record, if we do not have a concluded MOA per the memorandum of agreement per the Board of Selectmen, these respective contracts will have to wait until the fall for funding. We're keeping them on here as placeholders as of right now. And it could be very well at town meeting, if they're not settled, that the board will just pass over the articles. There is no funding built into the budget, omnibus budget, for any of the contracts that aren't approved. Article 8 is the omnibus budget, which we just went through. Article 9.
When you go to do it, you've got, the way it's drafted, make sure that the omnibus budget is like underneath the article. Because you got it Article 8, and then you got the Article 9, and then you got the omnibus budget. So just make sure that that lines up properly.
Gotcha. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yes, thank you. Article 9 is the regional school district assessment for Ayer Shirley Regional, as voted by the committee. Article 10 is the Neshoba Valley Technical Assessment, as voted by the school committee. Articles 11 through 15 are the enterprise articles. Actually, it's 11 through 14, excuse me, is the enterprise articles, which we do have handouts for at town meeting. Articles 15 through 20 are the revolving fund articles, the communications fund, fire alarm, hazard materials, 4th of July, DPW inspection, and town hall maintenance fund. These are generally taken through the moderator by consent. Then we get to the borrow articles. Article 21 is the capital budget requests, and it lists all of the items as recommended by the capital planning committee and approved by the board. There's a total of $2,639,000 in capital requests, broken down by department. Then you get to the transfer articles. Article 22 are the capital budget requests for specific departments in the amount of $110,200. Article 23 is the UDAG replenishment article, totaling $355,000. There were 3 items that did not have replenishment sources for the UDAG, and as has been the policy of the board, which is a good policy to keep that fund solvent, is to replenish it. $5,000 for the planning board admin support they had sought back in November. The purchase of the fire station land at $250,000, and then most recently the $100,000 for the engineering services for West Main and the Shirley Street Bridge. Article 24 is the stabilization fund article. Then we get into the transfer and raise and appropriate articles. Article 25, the master plan update. They're looking for a total of $100,000 for the master plan. Article 26 is the GASB 45 OPEB Post-Employment Benefits Fund, and as this article would seek to raise and appropriate $120,000, which is coming from the local meals tax, and then an additional $180,000 for a total of $300,000. The $300,000 is recommended by the town's most recent GASB 45 report, and the OPEB Board of Trustees met a couple months ago and recommended the $300,000 with this split. Then the raise and appropriate articles. Article 27 is the arbitrage rebate compliance service for $5,000. It's required biannually. Article 28, the payroll accrual consulting services for $5,000. A long-standing issue with the town, even before my arrival, has been the issue of putting payroll accruals on all of the paychecks and pay stubs town-wide. And one would think that that would be a light switch solution, but it involves a special module from Munis and some training. The town has been threatened with grievances a couple times from unions over the years and so forth, and we're looking to put this issue to rest, but also as a service to the whole town. That would be $5,000 for the payroll accrual. Article 29 is request for funding for the Ayer Cultural Council in the amount of $4,600. The Cultural Council submitted to the Board of Selectmen a request for this article. They wanted this small amount to be used as matching funds. They've had an increase in a lot of projects that benefit the town, and they'd like to be able to do more, so they're asking town meeting for consideration on that. Article 30 is for the first year's interest on the general fund borrowing in the amount of $93,520. Then we get into the other business articles. Article 31 is the East Main Street area water mains. As the board is aware, the original article for East Main Street from May 12th of 2014 was very specific, and it only spoke to East Main Street. As the superintendent was preparing to do this project and through the public hearing process, we are putting forth the town meeting to amend that original article to broaden the scope, so that if there's any excess in the project, that in addition to just being specific to East Main Street, some of the surrounding work can be done. So Article 31 seeks to amend that article for the water component, and Article 32 seeks to amend that article for the sewer piece of it. Article 33 is the Community Preservation Act, a standard warrant article every year that they have with the correct numbers, or the numbers for this coming year. Article 34 is a transfer of funds in the sum of $12,000 for general open space purposes. Article 35 is for $20,000 for the Sandy Pond School Association's conditions assessment for the Sandy Pond School, which I know the board is aware of. Article 36, in accordance with the town's bylaws, is the authorization of extension of town water and sewer lines on Harvard Road to a parcel of land primarily located in Harvard, with a portion in Ayer. So this is over near what was the Maxent property, that would require town meeting approval to extend water and sewer outside of the town. And then Articles 37 and 38, Articles, yeah.
Both of them.
and we can come back. So that's 37 and 38. And then there were no citizens petitions submitted by the deadline to the town clerk.
So we had 3 passes. The first one was the report.
Yes. The last few years, we've been trying to cut down on the number of reports done at the beginning of the meeting. For the omnibus article, what people need is the town accountant, and the finance commission report. The other ones can be given at their time of their articles being presented. And I'm not sure what the other one is here.
It was just, through the chair, Mr. Moderator, it was just a placeholder.
Okay.
Meaning, if there were any others, I don't know of any others.
Because all the other articles, all the other reports are already included in the town reports. So people have it down in writing already. They don't really need to be presented at town meetings, we already have it.
Well, the master plan committee, that's got a question mark on it, so there may not even be a report.
Right.
And I'm not sure what the other is.
Yeah.
And the community preservation committee,
They usually give it right when their articles come up, not at the beginning of the meeting. I know at the beginning of the meeting, if you have more than two reports given at the beginning of the meeting, people are going to sleep.
Yeah, they want to get to the meat and potatoes,
yeah,
You could take it out.
yeah.
right?
It could be
Lisa.
rearranged a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, to the chair, as the moderator is stating, and you could remove Article 2. In other words, when we get to the omnibus, I know that the finance committee always has a presentation, as is the town accountant, so that would be Article 5. And then community preservation can speak when they get to the community preservation articles.
Well, that makes sense, actually, to remove Article 2, so I would make a motion for Article 2 to be removed, for all reports to be discussed when relevant, with the irrelevant articles.
Second.
All those in favor?
Mm.
That was a so that was a yes, and the chair says yes, so.
I speak Lucas, so I...
Yeah, thanks.
So we'll take
My
Article
interpreter's
2
here.
out.
Yep.
So if there is an objection to the board on the omnibus article, we'll put an explanatory note, just a reminder for everyone that finance committee and finance manager to present or to report.
Yes, yeah, well, that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, so then, there it is. All right, so then for Article 37 and 38,
Yes.
I passed because I just want to, we've got the 2 articles here, more or less saying the same thing, one being, one for just the access corridor, the other one, the access corridor and advocates building. So my question would be, do we want to do both the articles? Do we want to just do one of the articles? And if we're going to do one of the articles, which one would we want to do? Yes.
So
Robert.
just real quick, just so to explain the Article 37 and Article 38, the board on the 5th voted the intent of the town to proceed with the eminent domain. So procedurally, as town meeting needs to pass by a 2/3 vote, needs to authorize the taking. And then what is underway per the board's vote on April 5th, excuse me, the board's vote is a appraisal of the property to be taken, because under the law, the eminent domain is, so how this would work is town meeting would vote to authorize it. The Board of Selectmen would conduct an open meeting to do an order of taking, including the funding, which the town accountant and I are recommending the use of the UDAG. We'll have a funding number by town meeting. The catch has been we've had to contract with a specific type of appraisal firm that the access piece was easier than we had to add the advocates piece. So we'll have an appraised value. Under the law, assuming town meeting approves it and the board does the order of taking, we have to offer the property owner the appraised value. And we'll know what that is, and obviously anybody can appreciate the appraised value for just the access property versus the advocates building with it will be a considerable difference, because as the board knows, the town is also responsible for the relocation costs of the businesses in the advocates. We have to offer we have to offer the owners that appraised value. Once the order of taking is executed, that's offered to them. It's filed with the Registry of Deeds that the town of Ayer owns that land, whatever the land is. The owner has up to 3 years from the date of that filing to sue the town for damages. It's specifically monetary damages. They cannot sue for the land back. We own the land, but that is something I know the board is well aware of, hence the recommendation for increase in the town council line as far as that defense. So the options before the board is, one is it's a policy decision as it pertains to the warrant. You could leave both articles, in Article 37 and 38 on the warrant in that town meeting. One could be withdrawn because we'll have more appraisal information. The board could decide just to put one of the articles forward, or the third option which isn't really an option, is to put none forward. So each of the articles, the difference between 37 is just the access corridor, 38 is the access corridor in the advocates, and there is one we've learned on Article 38. It says consisting of 24,000 square feet. It's actually 26,000 square feet. Yeah, could you so I also, Madam Chair, just so the board is aware, we will have at town meeting, it'll be part of the presentation. It refers to sketch plan in each of the warrant articles. So warrant article number 36 refers to sketch is just
37.
Yeah, the first one is just, this is what is called the access property. This is the medicine shop. This is Archer's Mobile, just to give reference. This is the access that's required. Here's the advocates building that's required for the project. Per the board's vote on, this is the next one, the next article is for the access, and it includes the advocates building as well. So all of this had to be, by the appraiser, so it all had to be exactly calculated out. So at town meeting, through the board, regardless, we will have all of the diagrams and information, the full appraisal report, and the monetary amount for both scenarios.
As much as I kind of agree with Chris, that building would make it easier, that's not what we've been discussing for the last few years.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't want to muddy the waters of our eminent domain case, in my opinion.
Well, I've been thinking about that too, and I do think it muddies the waters a little bit. Also think with the relocation and you know, businesses and whatnot, that's more resources and time and energy that would be used also. So to be honest with you, I think that it should just be Article 37. But at the same time, it's town meetings, up to town meeting. But I think that really it's Article 37, which is what this board has talked about and what we need.
Yeah, but we kind of voted on.
Yeah. So.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'd say leave them on there, and then
Let
because
the town
that way
vote.
Chris.
I agree. Let the town vote. Let the town vote. So yeah.
Okay, so,
And I just want to,
As much as I wouldn't vote for it now.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that people understand what is going here. The Board of Selectmen took a vote based on concerns from residents, based on inquiries, questions, begging, pleading, whatever. And that this has been discussed by this board in particular, especially in the last 2 years. So what the board did was they voted to put this article on the warrant for all of you to decide. So I think people sometimes forget that. I've seen a couple of comments online and everything that people tend to forget that though the Board of Selectmen had made this vote for eminent domain, it is up to the voters of the town of Ayer to make that decision. We've listened to you and we've put it to you, and if you tell us to go forward, we go forward. So this is not the Board of Selectmen who made just a whimsy decision. This has been clearly spoke about for, at a minimum, 2 years. So.
and just to reemphasize, because I think it's important that everybody understands that for the purposes of May 9th, we will have the exact maps, which we have, but we will also have in the presentation for 37 and 38 the financial breakdown for both.
Mm-hmm.
So when folks get the warrant, they're going to see 37, 38, it's going to just say sum of money. It doesn't have the specific, but we have been promised, we guarantee per this board at town meeting, in the presentation, town meeting will clearly know how much each option will cost.
Correct. Okay. All right.
Make a motion to close the warrant, FY17 warrant.
Seconded? Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Chair
And
says aye.
make a motion to approve the town warrant with amendments as written.
Seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye. Yes, Mary?
Quick question, Madam Chair. I must have missed it when Robert said it. What is it that you were talking about? It would require a 2/3 vote. This says simple majority.
Oh, yeah.
Through the chair, that good catch. A eminent domain article requires a 2/3 vote of town meeting. So we will correct that.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, does the board's vote on the warrant include the budget as presented?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right
Thanks,
then.
Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Just let me close my packet. I get it back to where it's supposed to be. All right. Robert.
Yes, let me just, I did the same thing, Madam Chair. I closed my
And
packet.
it's like, all right.
Bear with me 1 second. Okay.
Oh, did you? Oh, I didn't even.
Not this time, I did it a couple times, and it didn't transfer to email.
Well, I think it would depend on which program my device decided to open with, so.
Okay.
All right.
So, Madam Chair, it gives me great pleasure, if there is an objection, to ask Mr. Alan Manoyan to come to the table. And as it says in my memo to the board, it gives me great pleasure to recommend to the Board of Selectmen for appointment to the position of Director of Community and Economic Development, Mr. Alan Manoyan. As I said in my memo to the board, and you have his impeccable credentials, that through the search process, we had approximately 15 people apply for the position. We narrowed through that process down to, as we always do, down to 10, down to 5, down to 3. Myself, Ms. Antonellis, Mr. Wetzel, and Mr. Johnston composed the screening committee. We conducted interviews. Alan stood out right from the beginning of his interview. As you can see from his resume, he has not only impeccable credentials, but great extensive experience, I think, in what the town of Ayer is looking forward to and what the board is looking to. I checked out all of his professional references that not only spoke extremely highly of him, but recommended strongly that I put him forward for your consideration. I just want to finally emphasize, just for the public's benefit, I know the board has all of his credentials. What really stood out is his extensive experience and proven track record of success with downtown revitalization, grant writing, and administration, which I know has been important to the board. Has extensive experience with the CDBG grant program and administration, has done commercial lending, very familiar with the IDFA functions that we have, TIF administration, urban space design, an extensive record of success with corporate and business attraction, and the list just goes on, and as you'll meet him in a minute, just a really strong candidate who I think will be an added addition to the town of Ayer and to our team. So with that, I'll stop. This is Mr. Alan Manoyan, and I know that you probably will have questions for him.
Welcome.
Good evening, Madam Chair.
How you
Mr.
doing?
Vice Chair.
So I'd like to know, like, what would be the first thing that you want to get done? I'm very excited about it. Reading this and everything. I've been very excited meeting you. So
Well, I thank you for that. I'll just start by saying this. I'm a third generation Lowellian, a native of Lowell, and any of us that are in touch with our good Lowell heritage, we have a very deep connection to James Cook Ayer, of course, and his son, Frederick Fanning Ayer, of course, who your town is named after, and so that right off the bat. And I'll also just add my earliest memories of my life. You see, my father was a chief petty officer in the United States Navy. And, oh, you like that? Oh, that perked you up. Okay.
I'm retired Navy.
You are? Oh, okay. I didn't know. But a 20-year man. And my earliest memories, of course, you see, we would go shopping only at Fort Devens. To the PX and the commissary. And literally my earliest memories as a child is driving through the gate and my father telling me to salute the gentleman there at the gate. So Ayer and driving through in this area in Devens has been, a part of my life and our lives here. And this, so I've always been intrigued with this wonderful small town in a way that has fascinating characteristics, almost like a micro city in a way, but a town. So anyway, I'll just say this. The greatest advantage, and I see Ayer as being an exceedingly advantageous place, especially with what we're doing in terms of economic development and urban planning and the attraction. And economic development now is really about the competition for the attraction of talented individuals and creative, because this is then what attracts the type of companies and firms and the type of development you want. The size of the town is really magnificent, 9.8 square miles. This is a good thing these days. The nature of what you're embarking upon in terms of a development, and it's just the groundwork has been laid, in my opinion, magnificently for what you really can maximize for the 21st century. Ayer was a place, literally in its DNA, it was born as a multimodal transportation hub and a great place to work and live. And what is happening in terms of your passenger rail? I'll tell you, though, I've been up in Maine most recently in the cities of Auburn and Lewiston, and we are fighting like heck to try to bring passenger rail, to get it up off the coast from Portland and Brunswick and such, and to get it in there. Because we know this means everything for the future of development in terms of multimodal transportation and how that plays into lifestyles and the attraction of certain lifestyles. And in southern New Hampshire right now, because I worked for many years for the city of Nashua, and we are fighting like heck to bring passenger rail service up from Lowell into that. You folks have it. And then what you're proposing to embark upon now to really take it into the 21st century, I think this is just the most important thing, because it's going to really be, to me, the launch pad for what's going to happen in the town. Fantastic fabric, just the heritage fabric of the place is exceedingly advantageous to what we call smart growth and new urban lifestyles. Your geographic location is fantastic, right off 495. Everything that's happening with Metro Boston right now, as I said to Robert, I wish like heck I bought a triple-decker in Somerville, in the early 80s now. Are you from Malden?
I grew up in Medford.
Okay, in Medford,
Malden.
so okay.
Yeah.
What's happening is extraordinary, and this frankly is the next frontier. Now, it's this area that's going to, as things frankly are getting quite costly, shall we say, and just
Not
what's
much left.
really overheating places like, and the fact that you have the passenger rail. What's going to be happening with Devon's is quite interesting. And having done some work out at the redevelopment of the South Weymouth Naval Air Station.
Yeah,
with,
I served in South
You
Carolina
did,
Naval
right?
Station.
Well, I know that, I could walk around that place blindfolded, I got to know it very well. But just what those towns of, South Weymouth and Abington and Rockland are going through, and similar to what's happening up at the redevelopment, the Brunswick Naval Air Station, which they're doing very well. At first, it seems like it's a very difficult and challenging thing. And it really gets to the heart of very transformative, deep, socio-cultural, economic stuff, and you have to go easy with it. And I know there's been a cycle and interesting cycles with that. But I'm looking forward to hopefully bringing some, expertise and service as all that happens. And I know the town of Ayer, there's development pressure on, which is a good thing. So it's all going to be what form and pattern that development takes. I know it's going to be important as much as possible to preserve your open space that you have, but allow good development, and there are ways to balance all that off. So you asked me, what is the first things you can say? It's almost because this amazing menu is sort of laid out. And to me, the answer is the right way to do it is to do a proper integration of all these elements, and not just saying we're going to do this, and that's what I see here is the most extraordinary thing, that you're primed in terms of what you're talking about with complete streets, with balancing an urban life. And I'm fascinated by the neighborhood you have here, this magnificent heritage fabric-based neighborhood, but that's going to need, attention. Integrating land use, economic development, multimodal transportation, and then the fact that you have fantastic land in terms of industrial parks, and I know what's happening with Canes right now, and that's something we need to jump on top of right away. The most important thing to me, you do an economic development, those businesses that are here and that have invested here, and we need to really meet with them and have a very strong relationship to make sure, how are you all doing? We want to make sure you're staying. What can we do to be of service and partnership? And then leverage all that to start attracting, the new types of, whether it's large corporate development. And I'm an old downtown development guy, I started doing downtown development when I had beautiful, thick black hair many years ago in Nashua. And I've always been intrigued with this magnificently human-scaled little downtown that is here. And the potential, all downtowns only dream of having a passenger rail station, potentially, and working in the middle of embedded in their downtown. It boggles my mind of what could happen here and but doing it all at a proper scale and keeping the heritage and historic fabric, okay, while you're doing the type of growth and development. I feel very privileged, hopefully, to have an opportunity to serve. And the other really cool thing is, I have this lovely commute if it happens. I live in the Pawtucketville section of Lowell, which is sort of down near Pawtucket Boulevard and all there. And I just come right across the Rourke Bridge and right into North Chelmsford, and I just have this beautiful leisurely ride down Route 40 through Chelmsford, which is a really nice, it's what driving should be, a beautiful old New England road and through Groton, so close at hand. And again, it's extraordinary, the place where my earliest memories are come here at this point in my career, and to bring everything that I've done in my profession to bear here it's exciting. and I'm
Sounds
so
like he'll
impressed.
do it for nothing.
I know, yeah, he's like,
See
he's
that?
begging us,
Too
you
good of
know,
a
just
salesman.
let me in, you
Hey,
know?
Alan, yeah, we'll take it.
And I was so very impressed from my interview. I felt so comfortable with, with the interview panel, and I
Really?
feel
You
so
felt comfortable?
exceedingly.
I thought you trained them better.
And I've been around. I've worked for a lot of mayors and town managers, and you can see, I've worked in
your father was
Massachusetts,
the
New
chief?
Hampshire, Maine. He was a chief petty
Yeah,
officer.
so you know how to do it.
And by the way, later on, he worked as a proud member of the United States Postal Service, which I
Oh.
think, okay.
He's got
so-
all the basics.
See, I'm just hitting all the,
Well, you did your homework, didn't you?
yeah, he researched me well, and I researched all of you very
Okay.
well. But I feel so very comfortable and impressed with Robert as a town manager and the time we've spent.
Madam Chair, he survived about 2 hours with me on Friday afternoon.
He is a chatty Cathy.
No, he's it's very impressive, and that means a lot to me in my career, that frankly, I'm with the right folks that I know I can do my best with, and so.
I mean, I must say, coming from the city,
Yeah.
I'm so comfortable up here
Yes.
with the people, and I think they're comfortable with me to a point.
No.
But, no. But everything you say is true. That's what this town is. And we just want to drive it in the right direction.
Yeah.
And we hope you can do it.
It would be a privilege to do this and to be of service to the people of this town. It would be a joy. Yeah.
Well, I must say, listening to you and everything, it's quite exciting. I like the fact that your father was in the Navy, chief petty officer. That's
Yes.
cool.
In the Postal Service.
My father was in the Postal Service, so that connected with me
That's
too. My father worked on Devon's, and my very first job was on Devon's.
Wow.
The old cafeteria, I was the bus girl. And then I moved up to dishwasher, it was a
Wow.
big deal. But when I drove through the base, because I had the officer's sticker on my car, because it was
yes.
my father, they
Yes.
all saluted me. So my girlfriends and I
Right.
were driving in and out of that base all the time just to get saluted. So there's a nice
memory.
energy about you. I like that. And my mother was born in Lowell, so.
Yes? What neighborhood?
So, Dana Street.
Dana Street.
Mhm.
Ooh, I'm trying to place Dana Street. but
Yeah.
Okay, well, all
Yeah.
right.
So,
Because that's what you're asking from low. You always have to ask what neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's always right.
But
Okay.
it was very exciting listening to you talk. I feel
Thank you.
really, really good about this.
Thank you. I'm
So-
very fortunate.
I think this is awesome.
Make a motion that we appoint Mr. Alan Manonian. Is that correct?
Close.
Okay.
Get good with those Armenian names. Manoyan. You gotta get that
Manoyan.
oid thing in the middle.
Manoyan,
Manoyan,
okay.
there you go.
The position of Director of Community and Economic Development, Director at grade 12, step 3, in accordance with the town's non-union compensation plan, starting
May 2nd.
May 2nd, 2016.
Gladly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye. Welcome aboard.
Thank
Thank
you. It's
you.
a pleasure. It'll be a true privilege to serve this town. I thank you all.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for coming. I won't get your name wrong.
Yeah, you will.
I'll just call you Alan from now on.
Welcome aboard.
We'll be in touch.
Okay. That was nice. All right.
Okay, so next, thank you, members of the board. So the next, the board has in your packet a letter, a request from Mr. Celeste of the Ayer Shop and Save, and I know, Madam Chair, that he is in the audience. He submitted a request to the board for consideration of the Ayer Shop and Save, requesting special legislation via a home rule petition for an all-alcohol license to further serve our customers and their needs. The license will allow us to build our client base and provide more products and services, generating higher revenue and customer satisfaction. And as the board is aware, the all-alcohol licenses are set by quota by the ABCC, and Ayer has exceeded that. Ayer is at that quota, so to request an additional all-alcohol license would require a home rule petition, which would require A, approval by the Board of Selectmen, and B, a consideration by a town meeting. So Mr. Celeste is here with his request.
Okay, come on.
And I believe...
I thought you looked familiar when I saw you sitting there.
And Mr. Paul DiGeronimo, who is the property
Hey.
owner.
How are you?
How are you? Hi, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Okay, so I have a quick question. So in your request, you said the section is off premise? Where? You're saying that for all alcohol section is off premise, right?
Oh, let me just get the plan, so I
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I got a little thrown with that.
That's the name of the state license, so you're neither on premise or off premise.
Oh.
So on premise is like a restaurant, off premise is a liquor store.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was, yeah,
Okay,
I was
I
kind of like, what does he mean by off premise?
Yeah. So you would consume it off premise.
Okay.
That's what it means. Oh, okay. Yep.
So just quickly, we opened the store last fall. I opened the store last fall with some great success. The idea, we bought years ago acre of land over here. We want some future development here. We're already talking to 2 different standalone operators out there. And we're also adding a strip center in the back adjacent to his property. In fact, I was talking to somebody just today who was hoping to join Mike over here. We also have 2 people looking at this pad site. We have not gone through any kind of development. We've asked Steve Mulaney to start doing the engineering on this. So the earliest we'll do this is in the fall, the beginning construction. But this is the concept plan that we're moving forward to that.
Oh, very nice.
Yep.
Paul, meet Alan.
By the way, your predecessor did a great job. He helped out quite a bit getting Mike involved. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So I know you serve beer and wine. So you're basically asking to serve to sell. I don't want to use the word serve. To sell other alcohol.
That's right. So my plan is to rent another property, the future development, and expand beer and wine to liquor as a separate
Entity.
And that empty room, I'm planning to provide more variety for our customers.
Here.
I'm pro-business for the most part, but we've had other people come in front of us that won a home rule petition, and we've turned it down. Just because of the 3 liquor licenses that are in town, and we're only supposed to have 2 anyway. That 3rd one should have been pulled, which we've talked about. If it comes up again, that we will pull it, because we're supposed to have 2. So for those reasons, I'm probably not in favor of it. Although, like I said, I'm pro-business, and I appreciate the fact that anybody is opening any kind of business in Ayer. I mean, it's good for the town. But I think the town is, with 3 liquor stores right now, it's adequate. My own opinion. Chris might be different.
Okay. Sorry. So just to clarify something, Robert. So if we were to approve, you said town meeting would also have to vote on this. So the article would go in front of town meeting.
Correct.
But it wouldn't. Would it make this? I mean, how does that work?
That would be the purview of the board. I mean, granted, the timing that it was from the time we received the request. If the board was to approve it to go to the warrant, you could put it on this town meeting.
Otherwise, they'd have to wait till fall.
Otherwise, you would have to wait till the fall or special, and that's subject, again, to approval of the board as the liquor commissioners. Because, see, as the board is aware, right now the way it's set up is you're supposed to have a quota. Ours is supposed to be 2. It's 3 based on a change that was made and it was never pulled. And there is, in the governor's modernization bill that's currently at the legislature, one of the provisions in that is to remove this process and give it all to the, if you will, to the local authority. So if that passes, then the board, without having to go through the home rule petition process. But the way it's set up to exceed the quota requires approval by the board and by town meeting to the legislature.
This is,
Yeah.
Madam Chair, this isn't something that you need tomorrow, right?
No, this is a future project.
Yeah.
We're
I mean-
talking about at the end of this year, maybe next year.
I wouldn't mind saying, you know, that make sure that if we do this, that they would get first shot at it because of the presentation, and any subsequent ones we'd have to. So I mean, I think they're better off going in front of the next town meeting if that's the will of the board.
Yeah.
Can I just expand on something?
Sure.
And so hopefully, the development of the future of the town, that coming out of town onto Fitchburg Road starts getting redeveloped into a higher quality. So we want to make this a center of retail out there. The Family Dollar seems doing well. When Victory had this property, there was always a trade-off with the building. Because it's round and because it was small, they overloaded the property to get the tenant merchandising mix in here. When Mike and the Hannaford people came in here, obviously the way we shop today is by conveniences, and the beer and wine went in. It has affected a little bit. We have only added 1,800 square feet in the front, which gave them much more of a contemporary or modern feel to a grocery store and the merchandising in the front. I think one of the ideas also is, as the business grows up there, and he's doing well, but it's going to continue to grow, is to help get that beer and wine out of the store and over here to help with business.
Right.
To do that, you would need to have a variety of stores here. So that was just, it's also kind of a merchandising, a convenience type of situation. I think his family members have experiences operating liquor stores now, so that was a natural, that's how this is blending forward. We were going to try to reserve the first unit here for the liquor store, and I think we're only talking about 3,000 square feet, so it's not going to be and I don't know that yet at this point, a mega, it's not going to be a mega liquor store. Once this becomes available, hopefully there'll be more commercial development as this becomes a center of commerce in the area that helps the downtown area grow and provides the services this community needs.
Oh, trust me, I'm like 150 yards away from the place. It would work great for me, too. Not that I'm a drunk or anything, but
No.
I mean, it's right there, it's great. I wish it would develop.
He can
I
get
wish
his
the whole
chips
thing.
and his beer.
That's right.
There you go.
I do now.
Yeah. No.
But, you know, I understand the merit, I understand the reasoning behind it, and it's exciting that there will be a focal point, because that road needs it a lot. So I'm hoping that we get more development down that end of Fitchburg Road, too. But you might want to wait till Chris is here.
I was going to say, I think it would be better if we at least had the full board. It'd be better for you.
Yep.
Okay. So we're just going to defer this until for an evening, then we have the full board, so that you get a very fair vote and everything. Yeah. But I love the plans that are going on. Yeah, that looks good.
We're getting some interest and some excitement of that. Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
Does it have to go in front of the legislature, home rule?
Yes. Yeah.
And even though they'll recess July 31st, say if it was on this town meeting warrant, they would still take it up because it's considered non-controversial because it's a home rule, so it could still feasibly hit the governor's desk if it didn't even get there till after July 31st.
Oh, okay.
So they could do it,
Okay.
August, September, till all the way to the end of the year. So if it was at a fall.
Before the next session.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point. Even if it was a fall town meeting, it'd still be in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way you can get all your ducks in a row. And
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So talk about the Navy. My niece gets commissioned next month in the Navy and she's going to flight school to learn how to take jets off of aircraft carriers.
Awesome.
Nice.
And I have never been so proud of
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, so she went through ROTC, and she's very excited.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Oh, good for her. That is a big deal.
It is.
All right.
It is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go Navy.
Mark it.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to make a comment.
Hang on a second.
I just want to make a comment. Mass DOT had, that's, Route 2A is their portion of the road, so the town doesn't maintain that. That's why it's in fairly bad condition. They were going to pave it last spring. I stopped them because I knew Grid was coming in and digging it up, and Family Dollar was coming in and digging it up. But I've been talking with them this spring, and if they have the funding, they're going to be paving it. I'm trying to get them to put a sidewalk in from Park Street down to Shop and Save. So we're working on improving the infrastructure out that way.
We'd love to help you out with that, because Steve, I think we might be changing one of the curb cuts.
Okay.
And so we might want to jump on that before
Yeah, all right.
that happens, and we're working through that right now.
All right, great. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Look at all that exciting stuff going on.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that.
The,
See,
yes.
pointed you, and just we already know that's improving. Look at what happened.
The next item, Madam Chair, respectfully looking for a vote to approve the FY 2011 CDBG Housing Rehabilitation Program final report. Ms. Hersey has closed out that year for the final report, so as we generally do, we're looking for a vote of the board to approve the closeout of that final report.
Yes.
Make a motion to authorize the signature of the chair on the CDF2 FY11 closeout documents.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye.
Thank you.
I'm disappointed. Alicia's not here.
We gave her the
We
night
haven't
off.
seen Alicia
Yeah,
for a while.
she'll be back. She's doing well.
Is she not? Is it because of Gary?
I hope so.
The next item, respectfully, we're requesting approval of the board of the Town of Ayer's Comprehensive Written Information Security Program, or known by the acronym, the WISP. As the board's aware, a year ago, actually 2 years ago, as a recommendation, not a finding, but a recommendation of the town's audit, was that the town implement a written information security program. Per this board almost 2 years ago, tasked myself and Ms. Knox with putting this together. Unfortunately, Cindy couldn't be here this evening, but the credit goes to Ms. Knox and to the IT committee. Spent the last 18 months putting this together. It was reviewed by the IT committee. It was sent to all departments for comment. It has been reviewed by town council. And what this will do upon approval, as the board can appreciate it, and we hear about it every day in the news about data breaches, data security breaches, and we think, well, the town of Ayer, these things only happen in the big cities and so forth, but the nature, as the board is well aware of the technological world we live in, it can happen anywhere. And to Cindy's credit, she continues to remain committed to hardware and software improvements with security as the focal point. With your approval, every employee in the town will be given this written policy and will be required to sign off on it, with the exception of the Ayer Police Department. The Ayer Police Department is exempt from the WISP, as they have their own policies and procedures based on the nature of the department. So I don't know if there are any specific questions from the board. I just want to finally add that per the policy, section 4, the data security coordinator will be the IT director, Ms. Knox, and she'll be responsible for training employees. There's some funding, small funding in her FY17 budget for some training, regular testing of the various safeguards, and she has already assembled all of our third-party service vendors' security plans, which was no small undertaking. I didn't realize anybody that has any You
Yeah.
probably have this at the post
Yeah.
office, maybe also in your position as well. So they've done a really good job on this.
A long time coming.
Yeah.
No, I think this is terrific, and I just, on a side note to everyone listening, as it was stated, you know, all these data breaches and everything, I would recommend, if you haven't already, that you do protect yourselves in some way. Example, something like LifeLock, protect your identity. Working for the government who loses laptops and has data breaches left and right, and having seen a coworker got hit, protect yourself. So I think this is terrific. Yep.
Make a motion to approve the Ayer's written information systems policy as presented by the town administrator.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye. It's approved.
Great. Thank you. And again, a special thanks to Cindy and the IT committee and all the departments involved.
Oh, sure.
All right. Madam Chair, number 6 was the Depot Square eminent domain update. I think we covered all of those points. For the record and for the public, there is a memo in the packet for anybody that it sort of spells out what we already talked about. So
Right,
I think we're in good shape
Okay.
on that. So with that, that concludes my report, and I thank the board for its time and consideration.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Selectman Hillman is not here, and he did have something on the agenda for under new business, Selectman's questions. I don't know if you wanted to add anything, or?
No, I'll wait till next meeting.
Okay.
I was going to, but it may be more applicable later. I do just want to add that we have a J-Boss meeting Thursday
Mm-hmm.
at the town of Shirley's town hall, not town hall, yeah, town hall, at 7 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Well, then, we'll move on.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of 5 April 2016.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye. Okay.
Make a motion to move into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21A, exemption number 2, non-union contract negotiations, DPW superintendent, personal services contract amendment, town engineer personal service contract amendment, exemption number 3, collective bargaining, DPW contract MOA, exemption number 2, non-union contract negotiations with the town administrator personal services contract, and we're doing so to because doing it in an open session would be detrimental, and we're moving out of executive session right to adjourn.
Second. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good evening. We are now in executive session.